The story of sodomy. Prophet Lut was assigned to call the people of Sodom back to worshiping Allah. The city of Sodom was filled with evil. Its residents ambushed, robbed, and murdered travelers. Another common evil was that men would have intercourse with other men instead of women. This was the first time mankind had engaged in this evil practice despite Lut's warnings of Allah's punishment. The people refused to listen. Feeling despair, Lut made dua to Allah, asking for support against the corrupting people. Allah responded by sending angels to help him. The angels visited Lut disguised as handsome young men and were welcomed into his home. Lut's wife saw them and she hurried to the men of the city and told them Lut had attractive young men in his house. A mob formed outside Lut's house and they demanded that he hand over the young men. In response, Lut called out that they marry women instead and asked them not to disgrace him in front of his guests. The mob told Lut he already knows what they want and it had nothing to do with women. At that moment, Lut wished he had some kind of strong support against the corrupt people. That's when the angels revealed their identity and told Lut not to worry, they won't be able to harm him. When the mob started to break down the door, Angel Jibril came out and struck them in their faces with the tip of his wing, which blinded them, and they retreated. The angels instructed Lut to leave with his family as the punishment was coming in the morning. This excluded his wife as she was destined to be amongst the rest of the city. The next morning the punishment came down to the people of Sodom. The city was turned upside down and it rained on them stones of layered hard clay. Thus the city of Sodom was wiped off the face of earth, including the wife of Lut.